Hello and welcome to Spotlight North Carolina Cooperative Extension. I'm your host, Rebecca Benton. North Carolina Cooperative Extension is comprised of two land-grant universities, NC State University and NC A&T State University. Today I have with me our livestock agent here in Columbus County, Aaron Blackmon. Aaron, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, so what are we talking about today? Tell me a little bit about it.
So today we're talking about grass tetany. I thought it was a great topic to bring up this time of year. We're having good weather like we are today. The grass is greening up, and people are starting to turn their livestock out on pasture. So I think grass tetany is a good topic to talk about.
Okay. Well, tell me, what is grass tetany?
Okay, so grass tetany is a magnesium deficiency. So it's a metabolic disease. Some people call it grass staggers or winter staggers. It has a bunch of different names, but most of the people, when they see it, they pretty much know what it is. So it's a magnesium deficiency in the blood serum, and it causes the cows to not be able to do the vital functions she needs to do to be productive.
Okay, so tell me about the animals that are at risk for grass tetany.
Okay, so a lot of your most common animals at risk is your older lactating cows. So cows that have calves less than 2 months old, and of course, when a cow is lactating, her magnesium requirements are going to go up, and her calcium requirements are going to go up. And in the spring, when we have lush, immature grass, so it's high in nitrogen. It's going to be high in potassium, and it may be high in phosphorus, but we found out that it's usually these lush immature grasses, grasses lower than 4 inches. They're going to be low in calcium and magnesium. And so as the cow gets older, she has less and less ability to pull those energy requirements from the bone, which is where calcium and magnesium is stored. So we find that those older lactating cows have more problems compared to seeing calves and younger lactating cows.
Okay, all right. So if I was a young farmer and I was wondering if my grasses had grass tetany, what would I look for?
So we always assume that when the plant is immature that it's going to be low in magnesium. So when in the springtime, when stuff is starting to green up and it's starting to get lush and it's growing, we're going to assume that those forages are low in magnesium. And also in the wintertime. So if you're a producer that is grazing winter wheat, that is also a time that it may pop up. But signs to look for is cows that are uncoordinated. Their muscles are twitching, they're fumbling, they have an awkward gait, they may seem irritable. Those are kind of the signs to look for in grass tetany.
You never thought about a cow seeming to be irritable before.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not around them that often.
Yeah,
but
they're just like people. They all have personalities.
They all have personalities, yeah. Okay, so that would be the symptoms that I look for in the animal, right? The irritability. Tell me those one more time.
Okay, so fumbling, muscle twitching, stumbling, uncoordinated, and irritability.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about prevention because you definitely want your cows healthy. You want them making sure they're getting that magnesium, calcium in their bodies,
right?
Especially for their young calves. So how do we prevent grass tetany?
Well, first off, let's say that most of the time when people realize they have it, the cow is already down. And once the cow gets down, you need to call your vet. So it's always a good approach to have a good vet client patient relationship with your vet, so you can have access to your vet in case of emergency. So once the cow gets down, it's up to the vet at that point. But preventing, so there's a couple of things we can do. So like I said, when your plant is less than 4 inches, it has lower magnesium in it. So waiting to graze those plants when they're a little bit taller, 6 inches and above. That's one way. Another way, and a little bit more expensive, is intercity lagoons. So your clover, if you're in a region where you can plant alfalfa, stuff like that, that has a higher magnesium content in it, and that can supplement and get those cows that magnesium requirement that they need. And thirdly, and one that's most common, is supplying the cows with a high mag free choice mineral. And what that does is that that fills that requirement the cow needs. Most of the time we have free choice minerals year round, but during those times where you have concerns for grass tetany, make sure that you're putting out a high mag mineral.
And about what time of the year would that be?
So you want to put it out at least 30 days before you start putting them out on lush grass. So in this region, stuff starts to green up for the spring and around March. So I would start feeding high mag in around February. And then in the wintertime, depending on what kind of crops you're growing, you may want to put that out in September, October. So those are the things to look for there. A lot of producers put out block minerals.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with block minerals is the cows can't consume enough to meet their requirements because they have to sit there and lick that block until their requirements are satisfied. And a lot of times, cows are, like I said, they have their personalities. They're like us. A lot of them don't have enough patience to sit there and lick the amount of minerals they actually need to fulfill those requirements. So it's important to either use a free choice mineral or add a mineral in your TMR or whatever supplement you may be feeding. You can work with your nutrition to kind of figure those logistics out. But a free choice mineral is a pretty easy approach.
Okay.
So one of the things we talk about with minerals, so this is a mineral feeder. There's a whole bunch of different designs. This one here is the most common. And actually, if you go on YouTube and you Google barrel mineral or free choice mineral, our beef extension agent specialist, Dr. Matt Poor, he does a demo on how to make this kind of design. But you can make whatever design you want to, whatever works for your operation. Just make sure it's easily accessible to the animals, and you're checking it regularly. So the cows, they stick their head in here, they get what they need, and and then we have free choice minerals that looks like this.
Okay.
So this is a high mag mineral.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell you who the dealer is because I don't get paid to tell you that.
Yeah. We can't disclose that.
But that is a mineral that's worked for us. You always want to look at your mineral tag and make sure that your cows are getting the consumption that they need. So for this particular mineral, and most minerals is between 3 to 4 ounces per head per day. So that means that cow or that animal needs to consume 3 to 4 ounces of that mineral per head per day to meet those requirements. And just simple math. So if you buy a 25 bag mineral that's 4 ounce consumption, so that would usually last 14 cows about a week.
Okay.
So that means you would need to put out a bag of minerals every week. And if you're running into an issue where you go and your minerals are not gone, that means your cows are not consuming the right amount they need. So a couple of things you can do. You can move your mineral feeder. So you want to put your mineral feeder in a high traffic area. So right beside a water or around a water source, or you move them from one pasture, where they're moving from one pasture to another, anywhere where the cows are going to generally walk by. So they can visit that mineral feeder and they can have access to it. That's the best approach to that. I try to put it near a water source so when they're coming to water, they can get some minerals. And it also has salt in it, so they usually drink water after they visit the mineral feeder.
Do they fight over the mineral feeder or anything?
Not if you service it regularly. If you having a problem where they're fighting over it, then maybe you need to add another mineral feeder.
Okay.
So, I don't really have a general rule of thumb of cows per mineral feeder, but if you see them crowding, you need to add another one.
Okay.
Because you don't want them competing over minerals.
Absolutely. Now, but just because I'm not as familiar with this this process, when you're talking about cows, because I know there's dairy cows, there's steer. Is there a particular? Is this for all cows in
Well,
particularly that
all
graze?
cows should be on a mineral program. In this instance, we're talking about beef. When you get into dairy cows, most dairy cows, unless it's a pasture-based system, they're going to be on a TMR, which is total mixed ration. So they're going to get fed what they need in that ration, what period, and whatever they eat besides that is just extra, just icing on top of the cake. So in a confinement system where we're raising dairies in a barn or something like that, they're going to be fed a TMR. So that usually that doesn't come into play.
Okay. Okay. Good information. Good information.
But this grass tetany affects all ruminants. We just find it more common in beef cattle and sheep. So all your ruminants, like your beef cattle, your sheep, your goats, all of those can be susceptible to this disease.
Okay. All right. So we have a little more time, Aaron. Is there anything else you want to mention about grass tetany that we haven't talked about?
Not particularly. Like I said, just watch for those signs. You know, make sure that you're checking your mineral feeder. Usually, what we see is grass starts to green up. Cows back off the minerals some because they're getting most of their minerals from the grass. So don't be quite alarmed at first. If they seem like they're completely backing off on it, you might want to talk to a nutritionist or give me a call and see if I can help you figure out what it is. So don't be alarmed by that, or you may consider switching up because some minerals are more palatable than others. So that might be a simple solution of just switching a brand. But it's a very easily avoidable disease if we just stay on top of it.
Okay, well, that sounds like some great information. Now, like I said, we have just a little more time, so tell me what's going on right now with you.
What's going on?
Yeah, so you're still really, you're coming into
Yeah.
your boots here, and
Yeah.
especially in Columbus County. I know you've been working with the state specialist.
Yeah.
So anything you got planning coming up, or?
Yeah, so this time of year we're trying to get out with the farmers and see what's going on. It's a real busy time for everybody. People trying to get their seed in the ground, planting corn, and then before you know it, we'll be planting soybeans, and before you know it, we'll be harvesting corn, and it's just a good time all the way around. Like I said, if any of the clients or farmers or producers want me to come out and visit, I'll be more than happy to. We're trying to get some stuff set up for the summer, and hopefully we can be doing some youth livestock coming up, and and there'll be news about that real soon.
Awesome, awesome. Well, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you if they have questions about grass tetany or anything livestock related.
Yeah, so they can email me at aaron_blackman@ncsu.edu, or you can call me at the extension office.
And the number is 910-640-6605. And everyone, thank you for joining us for this episode of North Carolina, or Spotlight North Carolina Cooperative Extension. We'll see you in the next episode.